Hi, everybody. So I just wanted to introduce Alisa today. All of you guys know Alisa, but she's going to tell us about an amazing vision that she shared with me yesterday. And it's kind of a sped up version of hidden history. So I just wanted to go ahead and introduce her to you again. If you don't know her, she is helping the earth ascend, and pretty soon she's going to be helping everybody else. So let's go ahead and introduce Alisa, and she can go ahead and tell us her great story.
Hello, everybody. I had to call Honey and tell her about what happened to me night before last. I was sitting outside on my carport and just waiting for a light storm because it's been so hot down here, and it wasn't happening. And I was listening to David Waller's Child of the Universe, and that's a really good suggestion. And I had no idea this was going to happen. I didn't even expect it because I'm just in a chill state of mind. And next thing you know, I hear and feel like a rumble, and it's like behind me. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, here comes the storm, and then it got a little louder and a little closer. And I was like, oh man, here it comes. And then it got to where I felt like I was in a Jurassic Park moment because everything started vibrating. And it definitely got my attention because everything was moving, and it got louder and it got more intense. And next thing I know, like I'm sitting on my carport, and next thing you know, I can see this giant foot come over the top of my house and then landed, and then it just kept going. And this thing was a titan. I mean, this dude was the size of a mountain. Just to give you an idea, I am guessing my best guess on the size of this dude's foot, and I'll say from heel to toe is about 300 feet. So I'll speak in guy terms. That's about 75 to 100 yards. So and this dude's stride, with him walking, I can feel everything vibrating. I'm just very thankful that it didn't step on my house. But in his stride, it was like each stride was like a half a mile or 3/4 of a mile. I mean, this is this dude's stride. Just how big of a step that he's taken. Okay, and whenever I had taken a moment to calculate, the size of the foot compared to the body, if this dude's foot was about 300 feet long, then that means that his body was well over 1,000 foot up. This dude was a mountain, and he had dark hair, scraggly, looked like he needed a shave and a haircut, so to speak. And he only had a tunic on his waist, which also made me question who made that. But he's walking across. Now I'm in South Carolina, and the way my house is set up is actually pretty good on north, south, east, and west. So I could tell that he was going west, like towards California. And as he's walking out, and I'm just in, I guess, awe and stunned at the same time. I come out of my carport, and all of a sudden I start raising up like I'm being lifted up into the air so that I can see where this dude is going. And he is definitely just walking. He's not running, but man, he's making some distance because he's got such a large stride. So he is actually disappearing into the distance to me because he's got such a large stride. And as I'm going up, I'm above the trees. And then all of a sudden, everything that I'm looking down on, like my house, the property, and everything else, everything around me, totally changed. None of it was there. Absolutely none of it was there. And it was forest in a way that we don't see forest nowadays. There was trees that were, oh my God, they were as tall as that titan or even taller. We're talking mammoth trees. Okay. And as I got up above those trees, which would have put me very, very high, I can see these 4 dudes, one in the north, one in the south, one in the east, and one in the west. And they looked like they were good guys. But I'm assuming that right off the bat, but they looked like they were good guys. But they had these massive axes, 2-faced axes. That means there's an axe on both sides. Okay. And they weren't regular axes, because I say that because whenever they swung these axes to take these trees down, it was like a laser cut. It was a clean cut. And they were taking these trees and they were throwing them in the ocean. And I'm thinking, okay, well, what is going on here? What's going on? And I can see out that I can see these Titans. I could see the ones that looked like this first dude that stepped over my house. He looked more Neanderthal. Okay. And then I seen others that actually had one eye, like a cyclops. And then I seen others that had like reptilian skin and human skin on them. It was a bad mixture, should I say. And I can just see like they're dominating the land. And then as it's going forwards faster, it's showing me that they are now battling against each other with these guys who were cutting down the trees. Now these dudes were throwing the trees in the ocean. Okay. And I was wondering, why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? And I could see all these other Titans getting really antsy and upset. They're starting to fight and argue amongst themselves. They're warring against themselves. They have clubs and maces, and that's no joke. They actually had trees like clubs because they were so huge. And they went to go after the guys that were cutting the trees down. There was only 4 of those guys. And they went to go after them. They were trying to stop them, and they succeeded in throwing or cutting all these trees down. And from my understanding, what I was being told is that the trees were being cut down because the reset was fixing to happen and the floodgates were going to be open, and they wanted to make sure that these guys could not climb the trees and get away from the water. So that was like, part of the plan to make sure that they were trapped inside the dome. Well, the dome wasn't at that time, so I shouldn't have jumped to that because I did not see any kind of a dome. And then all of a sudden, as the warring between all of these different Titans and different colors, should I say, this vibration started happening. Okay, you can hear this frequency, but it was a low, high-pitched frequency. It didn't hurt my ears, but I can tell that maybe they helped me, save me from that. But this frequency and the ground shaking and everything else, I can actually see things start to sink down into the ground. And we're talking about buildings that exist now that are some of the Tartarian type buildings that were created by them in the past that they're being lied to us about. But there's a lot more to them under the ground because they literally sunk. Okay. And as this thing intensifies, not only you have like this mudslide because everything is vibrating, I see all of these Titans fall. And whenever they fall down, it's like they were, hit with something that just made them unconscious. And they're all laying where their mouths gaped, like they're gasping for air. And this gets so intense, this vibration and this frequency gets so intense that I can literally see lightning bolts and clouds where there were no clouds before on a massive scale. And this stuff is hitting the ground, and it's just causing all kinds of ruckus and thunders and shakes and stuff like this here. And these guys are still laying down. I even see a couple of women in there too. And just like that, they were petrified because it was so intense. This frequency or whatever they were doing to them actually petrified them. And and nowadays we know them as mountains. Okay, there are a lot of mountains of these Titans. And Honey even showed me some of the gems that she had that were actually parts and pieces of these Titans. And whenever all of that finally you could see this dome. I mean, it was a frequency like it was just like a hologram of sorts. It just, you could see it forming all the way around you. And it was so intense and it was so high that you can actually see it starting to freeze in the atmosphere as it was as high as it could get. And it got pretty thick too. And then from that point, I'm looking back down to our area inside the dome. And I noticed that the way our continents are laid out, that's bullshit, people. That's bullshit. They're not laid out the way they claim they are. And I can literally see something like a little Risk kind of game image where I could see a group over here, a group over here, and a group over here, and a group over here, but they were a lot smaller. They weren't the Titans. These were now giants. Okay. And I could say like the tallest one that I can remember seeing, they were like 100 foot, and then they come on down in size to about 40 foot. But these are the ones who built a lot of those buildings. Okay. They had a lot of strength. They had the ingenuity to do it. These people were highly intelligent. And I noticed that not on the Titans, but on the giants, they had some of them had elongated skulls. Okay. And they definitely stood out because there were some that was more bulbous, and then there was the ones that had the elongated in the back. And but they were giants. And I could see them doing all this different kind of construction on buildings and trying to put things even underground. They were digging some kind of tunnels for some kind of a purpose. And then from that point, it's kind of like I moved into 1800s, maybe the 1800s, because then I could see fairs and all of these different Tesla coils that are going up that are trying to help get this free energy. It was a test that he had done in the 1800s. And then I could see these giants still very tall outside of this exhibit, and they're watching this and they're not happy with it. Okay, so now they see this as a threat. That's what I got. This is a threat, and it's showing me again. I got zoomed out and I could see these here different coils, not from Tesla, but from the Tartarians that was already using it prior to this happening in the 1800s. They had already had this knowledge. They was already using it. And then whenever we came about, supposedly, they didn't want to share it. They wanted to make us slaves. They wanted to make sure they can control us. So then next thing you know, apparently everything burnt. They burnt down all these cities and all these places all over what we would call our globe. And it was on a catastrophic level because they wanted to get rid of it so that they can, in turn, they caused the problem, then they're going to swoop in and try to save the problem, and it makes them look like heroes to us. Okay, so therefore, then we start paying attention to them and worshiping them. And as it gets to that point, you can see how they are integrating people into these new cities and towns that have some of these buildings, but the other stuff had been burnt to the ground. And if you actually look at it from above, my brothers and sisters, it looked a lot like the Paradise community out in California that was hit with the laser weapons, the focused energy weapons. It was like certain things were burnt and other things were just perfect. So, I mean, that's what it made me think of, that this was done deliberately and on purpose. And then they try to integrate us into a new race, people, and they're telling these people that these things were built by our ancestors, and which was a lie, because it was a recent kind of thing. And the people are believing it. They're all glorious, blah, 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 blah. And then the next you know, I'm seeing electrical cars in the late 1800s. People are actually using electrical cars. And it progresses on to show the modernicity of what we know as our time now, because it spans out again pretty fast. And it shows how these giants manipulated themselves to come down in size, and therefore they can walk among us, control us dadgummit.
Infinite.
Yeah. Infiltrate us.
Oh, infiltrate.
And take over key positions, because if you're going to play a game of Risk, you want to set your guys in the right place so that you can dominate, and it'd be easier. So that's pretty much what they have done. But the ones that are behind the scenes, I can still see some of them even having some elongated skulls, even though they're our size, and they don't go out in public. If they do, they wear something that can cover it. But for the most part, they do exist. And now we're into the modernness of it. And all of a sudden I can start seeing like little 4th of July explosions in different parts of our globe, like a celebration. Okay, that's what it gave to me, like it was a celebration. And people were just so happy and getting along, shaking each other's hands, dancing together, laughing and giggling. It was absolutely wonderful. And they were celebrating because they knew that they had come here to help bring in this residence and to bring the dome down. And I can see them just going in so many different directions with joy and happiness to welcome their brothers and sisters to this party, so to speak. And then this event happens. And whenever this event happens, because the dome had already been cracked by my brothers and sisters and I, the frequency got so intense that our brothers and sisters went to sleep. Okay, because it was going to be so dramatic to them, they put everybody to sleep. And the ones who were supposed to be on hands to help this is awake. And I happen to know that I was one of them. But the dome comes down, and the shock of this here, seeing what's behind that dome, our brothers and sisters are not ready to see that. I mean, that would have just pretty much caused people to die on the spot, because it's a shock factor to the extreme, or go insane. So what our jobs was to go around and help prep everybody by either touching their foreheads or touching certain chakras that needed to be fixed or downloaded for whenever the time comes for them to awaken.
Oh,
They will handle it. They won't go into pure shock, and they'll understand what is happening. In other words, they'll understand what their role was. Okay. Because this is, you got to think about this, my brothers and sisters. We are all God's humanitarian army. We are the army. Okay. Whether you choose to believe that or not. And whenever this time comes, there's going to be some of our brothers and sisters that are unawake or unaware, and they're going to need help. And would you rather shock them like dropping a bomb on them, or would you rather bring it to them slowly? And if you can speak to them inside of their mind and their body to help prepare for that, would you not do that? So that's pretty much what we're going to do. And it led me through this whole history of what the Tartarian was and these Titans and how and where we are going. And when we get there, what's going to happen and how to be prepared for it. So just remember, the whole thing about any kind of a team or group and you are in a battle is never leave a man behind. So do everything in your power to try to wake up your brothers and sisters. Do not feel like it's your responsibility, but try to help plant them seeds. Because whenever the time comes, we want to take as many of our brothers and sisters with us as we can, because they are going to be part of another army that's going to battle this stuff on a scale that nobody can comprehend. But trust me, my brothers and sisters, you were brought here, called here for a reason. So, and I'm going to leave it at that because I thought that was, pretty extensive.
yeah.
And I wanted to say, Scotty, I wanted to make sure you was paying attention, my brother.
Yes. So we'll see Scott again at the end of the week, and he's going to be in on the moon. So we're going to deal with the moon.
Yes.
But so I wanted to just say, so Alisa has a project that she's working on, and it's going to be a few of us, and we're doing our best to go to a SETI this year. So she, in order to do that, she is going to be taking advice appointments. So basically what this is going to be about is either giving advice to you or listening to your story and seeing if she has a memory that can help you with it. And I'm going to put her PayPal link below, and it's just friend to friend. So if you have $5 and you want to spend 20 minutes with Alisa, that's beautiful. If you have $20 and you want to spend, 20 minutes with her, that's also beautiful. So whatever works for you. You can also email her if you have a question. So she's kind of opened that up to create the funds for her trip. So I think that that's going to be a beautiful thing, and I can't wait to see what happens when she meets James.
That's the whole point, is that I know I'm supposed to meet James. I just don't know why, my brothers and sisters, and it's got my curiosity up. So anything that anybody can do to help assist this, I guarantee you I'm going to come back with a story you're going to absolutely love.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is your opportunity to spend, a few minutes with her and really have a conversation over Zoom. So that's going to be amazing. And then also you had some questions.
I do.
Yeah.
And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give a shout out to my friend Asha, who sent me this beautiful thing. It looks like a Venus to me, but it was a beautiful gift. So I wanted to thank you, Asha. That was so sweet of you, my friend. And my questions, see, this is the part I really don't care for, because I have to put my glasses on. And that's all right. I'm a big girl. I can do this. That's okay. Let me put on my old 50s glasses, people. Okay. I have a question that's somebody wanted to know what my thoughts were on marijuana. Okay. All right. So I thought this would be cute. Okay. This is my take on marijuana, people. All right. Man-made cigarettes, God-made weed. Who do you trust? Simple. Okay. And I thanked Asha, and I had a question on how to help deal with the ego. Okay, and I'm going to give you a blunt answer with that one too. For instance, this is me. Okay, I got up one morning and I knew I had a meeting and I had a bump on my forehead. And that sucker just started speaking to me. Oh, look at everybody's gonna see you. What? Look at that. Everybody's gonna know. Blah, blah, blah. Same crap. I'm sure you understand. And it was just getting on my nerves. And I was like, I ain't got time for this shit. How to get ready and do things. So it kept bugging me. So I finally looked at myself and my ego in the mirror. And I told my ego that if it didn't shut the hell up, I was going to get butt ass naked and give it all kinds of reasons to complain, because I ain't got time for this shit. So I just don't let my ego get the best of me, because if I did, I would never be able to get anything accomplished. Okay. So just look at it like that. I also have told my ego, you know, to shut the hell up. Let me show you how this shit's done. Because I don't have time to let that slow me down or cause me a problem. And let me say, all right. I had now, okay, this is going to be a different moment for y'all, and I don't need glasses for this. Okay. I was asked, and I did promise my new friend KD on the chat, so I'm giving you a shout out, my friend. I had mentioned to you about the rice episode, or the flying tooth bandit. So I'm going to be a woman of my word and give you the flying tooth bandit, because I think that would be more benefit to everybody. So, and I'm only going to do this if y'all give me what you would have done in this situation in the chats. Okay. My brother has been pestering me for 7 years. Unfortunately, 7 years ago, I lost my husband. And my brother's been pestering me. Oh, you need a husband. You need to hurry up and find a man. You need to get yourself a man. And the only reason why he's been doing this is because he don't like me calling him to help me to fix things. So, but he ended up getting a hold of me on Memorial Weekend. So this is a recent thing that happened. So he pestered me, you know, come on, Alisa, I got this dude I want you to go out to dinner with. You know, I think that you would like him, blah, blah, blah. And I kept telling him, no, that's not going to happen and everything else. And he told me, he said, well, you know, it's been 7 years, give it a try, blah, blah, blah. He made me feel bad. That's the only reason why I agreed to this. So I agreed to meet this gentleman at a blind date. And we met up at the steakhouse, local steakhouse here. And everything was going okay. Okay, everything's going okay. Except, well, we had to wait like 45 minutes to get a table. And therefore that gives us time to talk to one another and fill each other out, right? And so this gentleman, he's asking me questions. He finds out that I'm a gamer, that I like to play games. And he had the audacity to say, what's a grown woman like you doing playing games? I said, well, what is a grown man like you out there shooting deer? And, you know, that's murder. He said, no, that's a sport. I said, no, that's murder. So I knew right off the bat, this wasn't going to go well. So anyway, we finally get to our table. And I had asked this gentleman if he had ever had the black meat seasoning on his steak. And he said, no, he had never done that. And I said, well, I asked the waitress, I said, well, bring me a little ramekin thing of it so that he may sell it, sell it, so that he may smell it and see that if he likes it. So she did so. And she brought it to the table. And now this gentleman sitting across from me, this place is packed, okay, because it's Memorial Day weekend. And you can do this, Lisa. He takes this ramekin thing and he sniffed it pretty hard, okay? And I guess it went up his nose, but this gentleman just all of a sudden makes this very powerful sneeze, right? And next thing I know, his teeth come flying at me like a bullet, hit me right in the face and landed on the table. And I was just, thank God I didn't say nothing, but the only thing that came out of my mouth was, are you okay? This gentleman gets up, grabs his teeth, covers his mouth with his other hand, and he bolts out the door. And everybody around me is laughing their ass off. And I'm in the middle of this. I'm like, oh. So anyway, everybody's like, are you okay? And I stood up and I just said, well, I didn't see that coming. And I said, no more blind dates. And people were like, let me buy your drink. No, that ain't going to help matters. So, and then I went on home. But I was asking myself the entire time driving home, was this karma or a test? So I'd like to know what your thoughts is on this, because I really think that I handled it like a pro, because I can only imagine that dude being mortified. But I did promise I would share a story, but now you have to let me know what you think. So we'll see how it goes next time on a different story. And I have been mentally wounded, people, so you need to send me some love, because I mean this shit's never going to happen again. You want?
That's such a riot. It's such
Yeah.
a riot. The first time you told us that story, we were just like rolling around practically.
Well, I definitely want to know if that was like
yeah.
some karma or something that I have done to somebody. If I did, I'm sorry. And the
No.
last thing is, honey, that I have this here, because I've had a lot of people ask me about this too, and I just feel like this is the perfect answer. Just give me a second. I had it pulled up a minute ago and then it disappeared.
So that story just goes to show you that Alisa has adventures inside of her head and
And outside of
person.
my
Yes.
yeah, man. I think
Funny.
more maybe it was a test to see my reaction. But I've had a lot of people say, well, oh, that would have made me mad. Oh man, I would have freaked out, blah, blah, blah. And I kept saying the same thing. Well, I guess that's why God didn't give it to you. So, because I mean, you have to think that dude was mortified, mortified. So why should I make it worse? So, and then I started realizing that's why God didn't give it to anybody else, because they would have had the wrong response, I guess. So, oh my God, this is not happening to me. I had it earlier. I don't make no sense.
Do you remember what it is?
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, it's right here behind you, and I'm looking in the wrong place. So that means I'm going to have to put on my granny glasses again, and that's
Oh.
okay. Blam. All right. So let me see here. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Okay, as long as you can see me, we're good. All righty. And it's right. Forgive me, my friends. I don't mean to be so slow. I had it, and then there it is. All right. All right, my brothers and sisters. I'm going to give you this one here because a lot of people want to know and try to understand, why they're here. And I'm just going to give you a good answer, okay? On the night of the July 17th in 2017, I received this message. I was on my computer and I was doing some things, and then all of a sudden my computer crashed. Okay, I don't know if any of y'all know what a computer crash report is, but it popped up on my screen. I couldn't do anything. And I've never read one of them before because I really didn't give a crap. But this time I decided to read it because I just could not do anything. And so help me, this is exactly word for word what my crash report said. And I know that it's for all of us. It was not meant for me, just me. It's meant for all of us. Okay. And it said, this is what it said: a call to awaken. It says free will is the freedom to open your hearts, to let love in, or to delay opening your hearts, thus holding out against them, basically because you fear you are worthless or unacceptable. Love can bring you intense peace and joy, even when you are in a situation of pain and fear and suffering. And in states like that, gives you the strength and the courage to move on and through that temporary state. This should confirm for you your deeply felt inner knowing that there is there is only oneness, and that there are no chance meetings, no coincidences, that every event that occurs is part of the plan that you created before incarnating. It is your call to awaken, the call that you have been waiting for, the call that you knew you would receive, hear, understand, and most willingly and enthusiastically accept. What you have sought for for eons is already with you. It always has been, and now you will know it, perceive it, and recognize it, and dwell within it ever elastically embrace at one with all, and knowing without even the slightest doubt that you are at home forever in the presence of your divine source. And that is from our Creator to all of us, my brothers and sisters. So, and I feel honored to be able to share that with all of you.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me share on.
Yeah.
We're all
So important to realize like who we are and what we're here for, and to honor that within yourself, because everybody's been taught not to believe that they can do things. And now's the time to release that, because we're moving into something so pure and so new. We have to let go of the old stuff. So,
Absolutely.
along with the idea that you're not enough. So
That's right. So they have used fear against us, and now it's time for us to take back our control. You know, unite our souls, take back control, my brothers and sisters. That's more powerful than anything else.
Exactly. Exactly. So, do you have any other messages that we should impart on people?
Remember, my brothers and sisters, you are everything you see, no exception. Be kind to it.
Yes. Beautiful.
Thanks
for watching, everybody.
Thank you, my brothers and sisters. I love you.
Have a beautiful day.